What's going on, everyone? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today I want to talk about something interesting for this game, and it has nothing really to do. It doesn't really have anything pertaining to like news or anything, but this is more or less just a basic discussion, and this is a pretty good one at that because I really don't see any influencers that deal with COD mobile ever speaking about this. So of course, before we get into this, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content and discussions as well. So yeah, let's get into this now. So anyways, Call of Duty Mobile has gone through a lot of different changes in the past. I know I've only been around since season 6 of last year, but I think it's safe to say that I've been here like long enough to know how much this game has truly changed, right? Back in season 6 when I started, we didn't even have a gunsmith, right? We didn't have like marksman barrels, long barrels, or even different types of extended mags. We had nothing like that until season 9 came around. So yeah, a lot of interesting changes has come in, especially with completionist camos, diamond coming in later on, as well as just gold, platinum, and Damascus. And, it pretty much gave free-to-play players a way to earn some pretty fantastic skins. I know Platinum isn't really much, but of course it's going to be updated to look a lot better in this coming season. But of course, the topic here that I want to discuss is about the weaponry and whether or not we have just too much of it. And, it brings an interesting point because, I mean, there are like over 50 weapons in this game already. I think there's probably 60 at this point, counting the melee weapons and the launchers. So is it really a far-fetched thing to say, maybe this game has a little bit too many weapons? Because keep in mind, this is the one Call of Duty game that has almost every gun from every other COD game in the past. I mean, I think they're going to start to bring Cold War weapons in eventually. And think about the Modern Warfare weapons, almost half of them are already in this game, right? We have another one coming in Season 6, the Right-Tech AMR. So yeah, that's another Modern Warfare weapon that we're adding in. The thing is that, I think, I don't know how to explain it, man. I feel like we have just so many weapons in this game. Like I said, we have over 50, and for some reason, I feel like at least half of these things are pointless. Half of these weapons feel like they just don't belong in this game. And I honestly think this is a fair point because remember, this whole game is really more about ranked matches than anything. I mean, in other Call of Duty games, we just have basic multiplayer. There's hardly ever any ranked modes, and when there are ranked modes, there's not really a lot to gain from it. There's no leaderboard or anything like that. Here in ranked matches, you win matches, you get points, and then you climb up into the leaderboard hoping that you make number 1. The thing is that if you want to play in ranked, you're going to have to consistently use the most overpowered and just the overall reliable weapons. I mean, be honest. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys do that, and probably for good reason. I'm sure you guys don't want to always use the meta weapons, but, based on how toxic ranked is every season, it kind of forces your hand a little bit. If you even think of using let's say a Pharaoh or maybe even a Type 25 or an M16 of all things, you're pretty much screwed. You're not going to win the match no matter how hard you try. It's just not possible. Some of these weapons are just way too dominant to have any other weapon compete against it. And that's always been the case in these past updates. I mean, remember when the snipers were overpowered? There was literally nothing that could beat it. I mean, Search and Destroy was polluted with snipers. And when the Bison came out, that was literally polluting that game, polluting ranked as well. I mean, that range was unstoppable. It pretty much was everything you would want in a weapon. Has the best range, good ammo capacity, good movement, all that stuff. And there was not really a lot of things that could beat it other than just the QXR or the QQ9. And that's the problem with this game. I mean, even though we have such a wide variety of weapons, we always seem to have very low variety. And look, this doesn't have to just apply in ranked. I mean, I'm sure Battle Royale has their own issues with, weapon balance, but in terms of multiplayer in general, whether it be ranked or public matches, you tend to deal with the same thing. I mean, even though in ranked matches you might, or in public matches, you may not be getting thrown a lot of thermites compared to how you would in ranked matches, and I've seen it before. Yeah, there is not a lot of variety even then. I mean, yeah, you could. There's more leniency, so there's nothing really. There's nothing to lose in public matches. You lose a match, you just move on, whatever. But in ranked, I think that's why it matters the most, because if you do lose a great deal amount of points. Sometimes maybe 2, 3 games worth of points. So you're kind of forced to use the best thing in the game in order for you to progress even further through the leaderboard, or just to progress and make it to legendary. In my personal opinion, I know I have no say in all this stuff since I'm not really too much of a ranked player. I mean, trust me, if there was an option for controller players to play ranked, I would definitely do it. Of course there is, but of course it's not, by conventional means. So there's a risk that you could get banned, and I'm not willing to, do some sort of controller exploit to get into ranked, because I've spent way more money than I'm proud of in this game. So I really don't want to risk getting banned. So look, it doesn't matter where you play. I mean, me, I don't judge if you play public matches, if you play multiplayer, if you play with mouse and keyboard, if you play with controller, or even touch. I don't give a shit. But the point is that I feel like, despite the weapons being, bad at some times, or, having the, what do you call it, the Bison being so overpowered, you can't always blame the developers too. I mean, yeah, they're the ones that, made the weapons so overpowered, but at the same time, it also kind of falls on the player as well. And that's probably the saddest, unfortunate truth when it comes to this type of issue. I mean, if we just had normal multiplayer where every type of playstyle was welcomed, and we didn't have like a leaderboard consisting of like, just only ranked players, or, if we didn't have ranked rewards or anything like that, if ranked was completely stripped out of this game, I don't know, maybe there would be a reason to use something, different, because, there's nothing at stake, and if you lose, so what? You just move on. You have nothing to lose in any match that you get into. And I feel like, yeah, sometimes ranked can be the problem, because then it becomes way too competitive. No one wants to try anything new. No one ever tries to, like, challenge themselves. And that's one thing that really does, like, bother me when it comes to this game. I feel like I always say this, I feel like the more the seasons progress, the smaller everyone's testicles become. I always say that, and because it's true. Like, how often do you see someone rocking a non-meta weapon? I mean, I see it in every game where, maybe they'll be running like an M4, but the moment you kill them, they panic and they switch to their Bison, or they switch to like another overpowered weapon. And this always happens in every single game. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're in public matches or on ranked matches. There's always a few scumbags in every match that you get into. And, they might be rocking something that's non-meta related, but then the moment you start dominating them, they panic and they just switch to like anything that's easy. I've actually seen people go through a full rotation of weapons just trying to take me and my team down. Just to get an easy win, There are sometimes they'll switch to, like, let's say from a GKS to a QQ9, start throwing double thermites, and if you beat them with that, they'll move to their Bison. If you beat them with that, they'll move to like maybe QXR. They move to anything that's like really, really overpowered. And I won't lie to you, that's really, really annoying. I know I could still beat them, but the fact that they have to stoop so low just to try to get an easy win off of you, it's really pathetic. Let me tell you a story real quick. So me and my friend Spartan have been going against this guy in hardpoint matches for just for like a short time. We've been seeing him and his group around for just a little bit, and every single time that we come across them, we ended up beating him. And we don't even need meta weapons to beat this guy. I ended up beating him with an OK-24, and that's not even a meta weapon. The thing is that this specific guy is just a textbook definition of a douchebag in this game. So this, like, when I first met this guy, it was before I met Spartan and before I became friends with him. And I got into a lobby against this guy and like 3 other people. And he was like level 124, I think, or maybe less than that. And the first thing I see from this piece of shit is a diamond bison. So over time, we kept beating him and beating him and beating him. And the thing is that, like I said, he runs a diamond bison. He's less. He at the time he was less than 150 when I first met him, and time has passed, like maybe a month, and he's still doing the same thing. And keep in mind, I met this guy before season 5. This was before the bison nerf. So this guy has been rocking it ever since, probably ever since it came out. So it's really sad how bad people rely on meta weapons in order to win easy matches. And of course, this guy was beating me because I was alone. But once I met Spartan, everything changed because now he had to deal with 2 versions of me. So yeah, we ended up like just basically torching his ass. I nuked him a few times, even with the bison. And I told him in chat, like, this guy isn't anything special because, I mean, anyone could literally just nuke someone with the bison in any, like, even in a ranked match. I could guarantee you, if I had access to ranked matches, I would be able to get a nuke easily. I think anyone would. I'm pretty sure at this point, everyone in ranked has done that before. It's like if you get a nuke with the bison, you're nothing special. Like that's like you could probably call it a milestone at that, or like at best, you know. But this guy was extremely cocky. My friend told me yesterday, Spartan actually, he told me yesterday that he went to the world chat and this guy was literally talking shit to a bunch of kids. He challenged a touch user to a 1v1, and he was literally harassing this guy. The kid he was harassing just didn't want to play a 1v1 match. I could understand that. Sometimes I'm just lazy to play 1v1 matches too. I'm sure a lot of people just don't want to play 1v1 matches. And not just because they're scared, it's because either they have nothing to prove or they just don't feel like doing it. I mean, that's me like literally every day. When people on the comments section of my live streams tell me they want to challenge me to a 1v1, I just say I don't feel like doing it. There's nothing wrong with saying no, right? But, we've come to a time where people just... they can't take no for an answer. They always have to assume, like, malicious intent or something. It's fucking stupid. So this guy was, like I said, he was just harassing him the whole time, calling him a pussy, just basic, COD trash talk. So my friend Spartan decided to, just come up on the world chat and basically tell him, like, dude, will you leave him the fuck alone? If he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to. Even I don't want to sometimes, right? He basically explained himself and he told him, like, well, like he basically started roasting his ass after all that because like he was basically acting like he was the top shit. So Spartan basically told him, hey, like, dude, me and Triforce have beaten you so many times in like so many different matches. I mean, we've even nuked you multiple times. And this guy, he knows who we are. I mean, he knows who we are. I mean, one time this guy even went on the chat and said, hey, Triforce. So basically, this guy knows exactly who we are. And this guy, like, was trying so hard to pretend that we didn't even exist, that we never faced him before, when we faced him multiple times, maybe 5 times. Moral of the story is that if you're a person that loves spamming meta weapons, especially when you're just starting out in this game, yeah, you don't have the right to be cocky. I don't think really anyone has the right to be cocky, because it just paints a bad image on them. It's just try to be humble. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I don't know. The community here is extremely toxic. Some people have like this extreme have like this god complex where they think they're like above everyone else, and it's honestly it's not a good thing. I don't know what happens in their daily lives that makes them like this, but I don't know. I can't picture myself being like extremely cocky. I just can't. Look, what I'm trying to say here, I know I kind of went like a little off topic, but what I'm trying to say here is that, there are over 50 weapons in this game, and it's kind of like a shame to not see people use anything else out of their comfort zone, right? I mean, you guys see me play on stream where I use like the Pharaoh, or I use the M4, or I use something that's not part of the meta. I love using different types of weapons. I mean, even one time when me and my clan were doing a search and destroy mode, I was literally destroying people with an XPR. The one sniper that you probably should never use in this game, and I was doing pretty well with it. I mean, it just takes practice. To be honest, I think it's kind of like ranked kind of plays a huge role in this, because I mean, when it comes to ranked, you always have something to lose, right? If you lose a match, you end up losing points that you have to make up in the next match or the next two matches. So you're kind of required to use like the best weapons like in the game. So that's the shitty reality of this. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we didn't have a ranked, at least for one season, I think it would give people a good chance to use something different, because now you don't really have to go your best, or you don't have to go extremely hard in every single game. Of course, do I think that's the answer? Definitely not. Do not take out ranked, because that's pretty much what makes this game. So yeah, ranked, taking out ranked would be a pretty bad idea, but there has to be some solution to, you know, give other weapons a chance to be viable, and we can't keep like rotating every season and like, you know, kind of reducing the meta even more, right? You know, we have to kind of like increase it, you know, have other weapons other than just like maybe 4 being effective. Like, let's say for example, you buff the PDW for like a season, and then you nerf it back to normal, and you buff a different weapon for the next season, you know, something like that. So I mean, I don't know, like, so we could have some sort of variety, or maybe just buff up certain weapons a little bit more, like the M4, or maybe even the Pharaoh. Well, not the Pharaoh. I think the Pharaoh's already fine. Maybe take a little bit out. I mean, take out a little bit of the horizontal recoil. I think that would be fine. But yeah, I mean, that weapon's pretty solid if you know how to use it. I mean, even the M16, maybe that one needs a buff. Maybe a buff to its multipliers or something, just to make it more effective. Maybe a buff to its range, so it could be more effective at long range, and you don't have to use so many different types of heavy attachments. For me personally, I enjoy using pretty much every single weapon. There are some out there that I am hesitant to use, like for example the M16, because I know it's not really a good weapon and I could just easily get destroyed. Even if I'm not in a lobby full of skilled players, I feel like it could really like mess me up in the game. So, you know, sometimes I don't use it. I mean, there are rare times where I do actually, you know, put it on and just have fun with it, but most of the time I just really don't. I mean, that even goes for the M4, right? I mean, they got like a buff like what, 2 seasons ago, but it's still way too weak. You know, it's still like a 5-shot kill like pretty much anywhere unless you hit in the head, and you know, hitting in the head isn't really as easy as you think. I mean, even with controller where we have more precision, yeah, it's not always going to be easy, especially if you have enemies that are just jumping around or sliding, you know. But the point is, you developers made like 60 plus weapons and put them into this game, but really only like 5 of them are truly effective, you know. I think it's time that we get another patch that makes them a little bit more, you know, balanced. I mean, the snipers are okay. The LMGs might need a little bit of a speed buff, because, you know, they're still, like, they're very slow. And plus, they still have, like, a lot of recoil, and they promised that they would actually reduce the vertical recoil, but I feel like they haven't for some weapons. For SMGs, I don't know, maybe a little bit more damage to some, like, you know, the Shecom, you know, do some recoil changes to the Pharaoh, and maybe make some adjustments to the PDW, some stuff like that. You know, just make it so that I think every weapon could have some sort of a chance. But don't, at the same time, don't make them to the point where every weapon kills with the same amount of time, right? So yeah, anyways, that's pretty much my take on this subject here. I know we have like so many weapons, but you know, they have to be useful at some point, right? There are some weapons that have never been useful at all, you know, like the Shecom. The Shecom hasn't been used in forever, like even before the Gunsmith update, you know, we need some changes like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mobile content. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.